Welcome back, guys. This is the King of Weaves here, and this is what if Naruto was a silent prodigy and was banished from the Leaf Village. This is the first time I'm actually doing two what ifs in one, or two different what ifs. Although, well, I'm putting it in the title. Although sometimes I do two at the same time, but we'll get straight into it. And anywho, now we begin this what if with Naruto being the Naruto's Jinchuriki as per normal. And anywho, now, of course, Naruto would be abused and tortured for most of his life until the age of 5, where he started understanding more things. People were calling him demon and everything. Remember, he's a prodigy, so he's kind of a genius here, and using his ingenuity, he would find out that he's actually the Naruto's Jinchuriki, and he actually would realize that, if he wants to live in this village, he'll somehow, some way, have to find a way to survive, as clearly he's hated, so it's gonna be quite hard for him to just live in a village like this, and so he actually begins training. And one thing Naruto actually never knew about himself is that whenever he trains in a new, well, in something new, or whenever he tries learning something new, he gets it pretty easily, instantaneously. It just clicks to him, and he actually begins doing these new, well, jutsu training, and pretty much he's been learning new jutsu every single week. And Naruto would first begin with just the normal shadow clone, of course. Then he would go on to the multi shadow clone jutsu, as he would find it quite easy because remember, he is Nuzumaki, and Naruto would make a lot of research about his heritage, and he would work out that he is the fourth Hokage's son. Now, Naruto wouldn't really be considered as a prodigy, as not many people knew about his well, his ingenuity, everything about him. The only person that really found out was actually Shisui Uchiha. However, he never really told anyone, as Naruto actually found out that also he knew, but then he actually used his body flicker, which was just as good as his, and Shisui was very surprised that someone else could use the body flicker just as well as him, and he would tell Shisui to keep his secret, as he doesn't want anyone else to find out, since the village already treats him as a threat to their well-being and to their safety. He doesn't want people thinking that he's now becoming stronger, and he doesn't want people thinking that the Nantos has taken over him or something, and is giving him powers that are dangerous and could kill them. And anyways, of course, the Shisui understands, and he's actually confused on how Naruto knows that he's the Nantos Jinchuriki, because it's an S-class secret, and anyone who tells who would try to reveal it to Naruto would get severely punished. And of course, Shisui asks Naruto who told him, and Naruto says no one did. He just worked it out himself. There was no need of anyone telling him. And anywho, now Naruto tells Shisui to leave him alone, as he doesn't need someone else to, he doesn't need someone, and he doesn't want anyone else that he has to worry about, as he has too much in his mind anyway. Since he's trying to become stronger, he's trying to train, and he has a lot of things in his mind right now. And Shisui does leave him alone. Naruto's now 7, by the way, so Shisui's death is, impending. And anywho, now, of course, Naruto would have no friends. He would legit have no friends. He would be a loner in the village. Every time the villagers try to beat him, Naruto actually doesn't allow it, as he's not trying to, go through what he has gone through in the past years of his life, as he has scars that always remind him, the people always reminding him that he's a failure, he's a demon and everything. Every time he goes around the village, he gets looks. In fact, sometimes Naruto can't even afford the dinner, as he doesn't have enough money to actually pay for any ingredients or groceries, as he gets overcharged by stores, because he's Naruto Uzumaki, the Nanto's Jinchuriki, and people, well, and he just doesn't go into shops anymore, as he's had enough. Naruto is traumatized, as anyone would be after the treatment that Naruto got. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto would be quite malnourished. However, of course, that would the little illnesses and the little fatigued, the body of Naruto that is always fatigued, would be healed by the Nantos, as the Nantos doesn't want its host to die on him, as it would be a hassle for him, especially because him waiting for another, or for him to reform as his pure chakra would take too long, as he has way too much chakra. And the more chakra something he possesses, the longer, or the more years it would take for him to return to his full power. And anyways, now we would go on to see Naruto actually making his own food through catching animals, wild animals, as the he actually thought that it would be a good idea. Although he's a genius, he does kind of, he doesn't really think of himself much. He doesn't really take care of himself. He's still a child, and once he gets down to doing something, he just does that one thing over and over again. And sometimes, or most of the times, he would even forget to eat and just go to sleep as he's tired. And anyways, now we would go on to see Naruto enrolling into the academy, and the first day he would be late, as the night before Naruto was actually healing himself from an attack from the villagers that he actually received without notice. Someone actually found out about his little training ground, and well, it wasn't a good experience, as clearly Naruto was well, attacked, and he was pretty much well, attacked in such a way that, or such aggression and brutality, that he was bleeding quite a lot. He lost a lot of blood in that attack, and Naruto would actually go on to be in pain. The Nantos wouldn't actually heal him, as the Nantos only does it when Naruto is asleep or unconscious, and clearly Naruto is conscious at the moment, and so he was bandaging himself up with bandages that he found, or scrap bandages he found at his own home. And sorry, um, and anywho, now, of course, Naruto would go into school late, and Iruka would be quite pissed off at Naruto. However, once he sees who that is, he kind of feels bad for him, as he saw Naruto get, well, beaten a lot when in his younger years and running away from the villagers. And he seems like a good kid. He's not a prankster here. He's not really a nuisance to anyone, but just the fact that he's Naruto Uzumaki, he receives the kind of treatment that he does. Anyways, now Naruto would then go to his seat at the back of the classroom all alone. It was a pretty cold winter day. Not winter, I'd say it's September, autumn. And of course, Naruto came in with scrap clothes. Of course, some kids were making fun of Naruto not having parents to buy him clothes, and Naruto just plays it off as clearly these are his best clothes. He's wearing his orange jumpsuit, which was, in tatters because of all the attacks that he's gone through and all the times he's been attacked. And anywho, now Naruto would, keep training himself over the time of the academy, and it's been a week or so, and finally, after this 1 week, well, the academy students would begin some practical work. For example, throwing and throwing shuriken and kunais at targets and everything. As Iruka seemed like they already now, as it's been a week, they've understood what it means to be a ninja and everything, although they still have history lessons over and over again. Now, we would see everyone pretty much failing at it as it's their first time. However, Sasuke Uchiha, whose parents were still alive at the moment, you know, Itachi hasn't gone rogue yet and everything. Now, of course, Naruto here, who wouldn't really wouldn't really want to show off too much, as he knows that the bad or or the effects that this could have on his daily life. uh, he doesn't really want to show off at all like Sasuke does, and so he actually throws the shuriken in a way that they only hit the edges of the target. But what Iruka notices is that Naruto was skilled enough to only hit the edges of the target, and that was one mistake that Naruto thought that didn't really think over, and he thought that it'd go unnoticed. But remember, this is Iruka, who's a tuning, so it's a tuning observation to see that Naruto threw these kunai, and I'm going to say that Iruka is actually quite close to being a Jonin, and he basically has the knowledge, the observation, and everything. It's just the that he didn't have the time to train to become a Jonin, or to even take the exam, because he wanted to become a teacher at the academy. And if he became a Jonin, he knows that his his skills would be needed more in the battlefield. Not that he doesn't want to fight for the Leaf Village, but it's that he knows that if he's a Jonin, it'd be better for him not to be an academy teacher, as uh, the Leaf is in the Leaf needs manpower at the moment because of the last attack on the Leaf by the Nantos. A lot of ninjas died and a lot of Jonin too, and so ever since you know it's been in demand to have more strong Jonin. But anyway, now or more Jonin or more Chunin take Jonin exams. Anywho, that's how we have Uzumo and Kotetsu, or I think that's the name. Those two guards who just sleep on the job. But anywho, we won't go into my view on the state of the Leaf Village at the time. But anywho, now we would go on to see Naruto Iruka actually realized that Naruto's hiding something, and when it came down to Shadow Clone Jutsu and the transformation jutsu, Naruto would just make sure that his one just never came. Uh, but we won't go into how I view the Leaf Village state or whatever. Anyway, now, of course, we would go on to see, we would see, not Shikamaru, but um, Iruka actually observing that Naruto is hiding something, as clearly it's much harder to hit the outside with every single kunai and thing than the middle, as you need to be quite skilled to do that. And if you're not skilled enough to do that much, you can definitely hit the middle or the bullseye. And anyways, now of course we would see Naruto fail in all the other jutsus and becoming a laughing stock pretty much. But Naruto is used to being a laughing stock, or the outcast of the Leaf Village, and he sometimes kind of wonders why they are so against him. Although he's a human being, like, why is he outcasted so much, and just what has he done to deserve this kind of treatment? Of course, he knows that he's the Jinchuriki of the Narutos, but it really confuses him on how stupid the villagers can be and not see the difference between a Jinchuriki and a real human being, and an actual tail beast. Like, plainly Naruto is not a tail beast. But anyways, Naruto kind of gets confused by this kind of logic, but he just goes with it and just lives on his life. And anywho, now Naruto would then go on to finish the year as he would finish the year at the bottom of the class, although he passes. Everyone in the class passed here, but Naruto would make sure that he got the bare minimum to pass, and Iruka would see this happening in every single exam that Naruto done. Naruto would get the bare minimum to get 51%, as that is the passing rate. 51% plus would be 50% plus would be uh, a passing rate. So there is a passing. So if you get 50% or anything above it, you would pass. And Naruto would make sure that every exam he would get 50% and above, or just 51% usually. And each exam has been like this. And Iruka has seen Naruto uh, around the village, well, going around the village, or not going around the village, but going to the forest to train. And of course, he was confused on why Naruto is trying to hide what he's truly capable of. As most kids his age would want the praise of adults, or older, or more experienced people, as they feel like that's the little job or something. But anyway, even Iruka just wanted the attention when he was a child, and he thought that most kids would like that attention. And just saying, the Uchiha massacre did happen, and Sasuke has gone into his emo phase and everything. But anyway, now next thing you know, Naruto, oh well, Iruka would actually follow Naruto to see his training regimen, and Naruto's training is very different from normal training. He trains with shadow clones for some reason, and he's actually quite surprised that Naruto even knows the multi-shadow clone jutsu, as it is a forbidden jutsu, and mostly Jonin are only able to do it because of the high chakra, well, the cost of chakra, that, or how much chakra it really takes, and anything now. Of course, now we would go on to see Naruto and Iruka actually talk, as Iruka would come out of the woods and talk to Naruto and ask Naruto why Naruto is hiding this. Naruto would then tell him that's none of his business and to get out of him, as he doesn't like to be seen while training. Of course, Iruka then tells him that if Naruto doesn't start getting higher grades, he'll be expelled from the academy, and he won't be able to become a ninja. Naruto then says, "Well, isn't that what the village wants anyway? And I'm pretty sure you're only acting because you're acting like that because you hate me." Iruka doesn't hate Naruto. However, he kind of feels sorry for him, and in fact, he tells Naruto that he doesn't hate him. But Naruto then just disappears as he uses body flicker in a way that even Iruka wasn't able to track him. As he was confused, first of all, on how Naruto knew the body flicker, as mostly only Genin would learn that kind of jutsu. And second of all, how did he use it in such a way? The only person that he's ever seen use it like that was Shisu Uchiha, as he once saw him body flicker away from him, as he was talking to him one time. But Naruto just used it exactly like him, and he thought that he was a Shisu student for a second, but the Hokage would have told him if Shisu's student was amongst you know his students as well. Anywho, of course, Iruka did ask Naruto to try a bit harder in the academy, and Naruto says he doesn't care if he gets expelled or not. He doesn't need to be a ninja to have a good life. I mean, as if he's ever going to have a good life in this village. Anywho, now Iruka was quite saddened that Naruto thought like this, that he despised the village. However, Naruto doesn't really despise this village. He hates the people. Yes, he does. I mean, who wouldn't? Naruto has a brain here. He doesn't really think that the people are just doing it because he's an idiot. But clearly, they're doing it out of their own hatred, and they're stupid, first of all, which he hates as well. That they're this dense. I mean, most people would be able to see that there is a difference between the nine-tailed fox, which is massive, towers over mountains, and between a child. But, of course, these villagers are kind of stupid, but anyway. Now, we would then see Naruto keep training over the break that they had. I'll say some holiday, some vacation, however you guys want to call it. And of course, then we see Naruto, learning more jutsus. And remember, Naruto's potential here is cracked, broken, overpowered, and whatever he tries is the first time. It's easy for him to learn it. And anyway, Naruto would one day decide to steal a scroll from the Hokage's office. The Hokage actually didn't notice because Naruto was actually quite skillful in hiding his presence. And once the Hokage actually dozed off after having a cup of sake for one time, for all time's sake, when he actually could drink because he wasn't the Hokage anymore, because Minato was the Hokage then. But then the Naruto's attack and everything. But anyways, now, of course. After he stole the scroll of healing, he would copy down a few jutsus like the Rasengan, I just see the Show Flame and a few others, for example, the Flying Rajin. And there are others, but he doesn't really, I'm not going to really, sorry, I'm not going to really mention them now. And anyway, now Naruto would actually, for the first time, go to Ichiraku Ramen, and the two would ask for his name. And anyways, now he would give his names. Oh, wait, one second. Anywho, now Naruto would kind of make acquaintances with them. However, of course, he would only say that he's Naruto Uzumaki. That's it. And he would go off. He would buy a sealing scroll from this little vendor, or some a little scrolls shop. And now, of course, he would go on to train, and we would have a 3 year time skip as Naruto would train for the next 3 years. To I'll say 2 years. Sorry, my bad. I actually didn't write this in the little note of mine. 2 years or time skip as Naruto would now be in the last year of the academy. He would still have no friends, absolutely none, because here no one really wanted to be Naruto's friend. And anyways, now, of course, we would go on to see Naruto actually already have all five chakra natures, learn a lot of sealing techniques. He's actually quite prominent in sealing techniques, and he would be an A rank sealer, I'll say. And remember, he has that kind of overpowered potential. And of course, Iruka would still be saddened that Naruto and him have never really gotten to know each other properly. As Naruto is Iruka's favorite student. As he always, well, he wouldn't say favorite, but is his most. It's the student that he cares the most for. And anyhow, now Naruto, even Sasuke would realize that Naruto would always try to get average scores or flunk. He never really failed any tests. Naruto would always get the bang average score. Even Shikamaru notices, and Shikamaru, of course, does point that out to Yuriko, saying that is it not weird that Naruto always gets the middle school or the bare minimum to pass? Sakura and make a joke about, and Kiba make jokes about Naruto being just stupid and barely being able to pass, and everyone laughs except for Hinata. And of course, Naruto just says probably, but who cares? I mean, I'm none of your friends, so it doesn't really matter. And anywho, now, of course, everyone went silent as they know that Naruto actually has no friends, and no one really tries to be his friend. Even Shikamaru and Choji never really tried in this what if. Oh, sorry about that. And then here now, Naruto would pretty much then tell Iruka that he's done for the day. He's done enough, as he feels like this lesson will no longer help him, and Iruka tells him to sit back down, as he's not allowed to leave lesson. And Naruto asks what else can he learn from this lesson, as they're already done. They're just gonna do some questions on it, and that's it. And he already knows on school Naruto will get. And anywho, now Naruto just walks out of the classroom. Everyone is confused, especially Sasuke, as he never really thought Naruto to be the type of guy to do that. He always seemed quite quiet and not really rebellious. And anywho, of course, Naruto didn't really care, and he just went off on his own. And anywho, now, of course, Naruto would be training, and Iruka would be quite saddened that Naruto doesn't see him as a teacher, and he actually goes to his home, and he sees his home. It's quite plain. All he has is a bed in the kitchen. He has the utensils and everything, but and all the pots, but they seem pretty unused, barely used. And he sees his bed is not neat, and his bedroom, he has a well, he doesn't have any pictures or anything. He doesn't have anything, to be honest. He has a kunai with a seal on it. Oh well, actually stuck to the ceiling, and he doesn't want to pull it out as he thinks he's already intruding into Naruto's privacy. But he looks around and he sees how dull his room is. It kind of reminds him of his own one when he first lost his parents. He had nothing. He was all sad, he was depressed, and it seems like Naruto is going through something like similar to him, but in a different way. As Naruto doesn't really seem depressed. He seems like he doesn't have the time for anything. In fact, Naruto is trying really hard to manage everything that he wants to do. He's learning quite quick and anything now. Of course, one day Naruto would actually return to his home to see Iruka waiting there. He hasn't been showing up to the academy for weeks now, or more, 3 weeks, and this is a pretty normal occurrence. Naruto does take a few months of breaks. In a normal academic year, I'll say that is 10 months, and altogether, Naruto the only goes there for like five. He misses 5 months, but still gets the average scores right at the end. And anywho, Naruto always went to Naruto's home, and he saw that it kinda changes. So Naruto comes at night, and so one night he was waiting there the whole night until Naruto arrived. Naruto seemed like he was, training like a madman. He was all sweaty, his clothes were kinda ripped, and he actually had a few burns. And of course, those were burns from himself training. And then he now. Of course, Iruka asked Naruto why he comes so late. Where has he been? What are these scars and what's going on? Like you haven't been to the academy in 3 weeks. Like you need to explain yourself. And Naruto says, that's none of your business. All that matters to you is that I get the grades right. As long as I pass, it's fine. And then Iruka says, no. Listen, Naruto. I know you're going through something. I can see that you don't like this village. Naruto says, I love this village more than anything else. It's just that some certain people I hate. Don't worry, you're not part of those. You never give me that stare. You never stare at me like I'm not a human being. There are a lot of people who stare at me as if I'm a monster. I guess I am, after all. But anyways, if I really was, I would have destroyed them by now. And anywho, of course I have a heart, unlike them. You can't even see the difference between a human child, and a nine-toed fox. So much for them being attacked by it. Of course, now Naruto tells Iruka to get out of his home, as this is kind of like trespassing. He never really allowed him in. And Iruka asks Naruto just to try a bit harder in the academy, and from now on, Iruka well, wants to take Naruto out every weekend to just have fun, to go sightseeing or something. Just, be a bit like father and son. Naruto says, you don't need to try that hard for me, Iruka sensei, and it really doesn't matter. Please, don't waste your time with me. You have better things to do in your life. For example, get a girlfriend. Maybe that will be a first step. Of course, Iruka just smiles at Naruto and laughs, saying that he has better things to do than getting a girlfriend. For example, fixing up his relationship with a student of his. And Naruto looks at him in a perplexed look, and he says, do you really want to do this, Iruka sensei? Iruka tells him, yes, of course, you are my student, and I will do anything to, of course, help you out. Naruto then looks at him and smiles at him, realizing that maybe there are people who actually care, who actually aren't ruthless, and they would do kind acts like Iruka, of course. And then now, Naruto tells Iruka that he'll see, and the next day Naruto arrives to school, and he actually has a smile. He doesn't come late, he comes on time, and everyone's surprised that Naruto walked in on time. And as he walked to his seat, some people went up to him, and that was actually, well, it was Kiba, Sakura, and Ino. They would all look at, the blonde and ask, what happened to you? Did the 3 weeks off do something to you? Did you hit your head? The dead last is here on time for once, and Naruto says, technically I'm not the dead last, as I still pass. And of course they still say that he's the dead last, as he's still last. Naruto just tells them to get out of his way. He's here to study, and if they don't want to be in his place, they should up their game, as clearly them getting 60-70% isn't going to be enough, as the tests are way too easy. Anyways, from then on, Naruto went on to get top marks for the rest of the year and become the rookie of that one year. And yeah, Sasuke was surprised. He wasn't jealous. He was not jealous. He was, of course, just a tiny little bit of saltiness, but he was not jealous. He was impressed. He was like, whoa, Naruto is something different. Of course, next year, last year, Naruto actually started talking a bit more to, Shikamaru and Shoji, but he wouldn't really be best of friends with them because Naruto is more of an introvert here, and he likes to keep to himself because of well, all the abuse he's gone through, all the bad memories of his. He just likes to keep everything to himself. But he has gotten a better relationship with the Hokage now. As yes, even the third Hokage had a quite like broken relationship with Naruto, but also Ichiraku Ramen, Ayame and Toji, and the Iruka. Iruka and Naruto. Naruto sees him as a dad at this point, and then now, of course, the Hokage was very happy that Naruto has finally made some people in his life, or some people in his life have finally started to show, and Naruto is no longer alone. But he does train a lot harder. Shikamaru and Choji were motivated by Naruto's training regimen, as he trains a lot. Like, I mean, a lot. He doesn't miss a single day of school now, and he has gone back to trying to get mediocre schools, as he told Iruka that he doesn't really want to be at the top of his class. He just wants to show some people that he can be, but he doesn't need to worry. In the final examination, which is the main exam, he will he will ace it. He doesn't need to worry about that. Iruka actually saw Naruto train, and in fact actually gave him a few Jonin tips, as clearly he is a Jonin level, but he just doesn't have the time for it. And literally, yeah, the man could just become a Jonin, but he just doesn't have enough time for it. But anywho, now, of course, Naruto would then go on to finally master the Flying Raijin. Now, Naruto would obviously, well, be a lot stronger in this YF, and anywho, now, the final year arrives, and Naruto, of course, aces the exam. He's been training quite hard. Remember, he's a prodigy. But the one thing is different here. Naruto, of course, he's been training hard. Sasuke has been getting quite special training from someone else because he was the final Uchiha. And in this what if, I'm going to make it so that he was actually aware that he actually unlocked his one Tomoe Sharingan, as one day while he was training right after the Uchiha massacre, he would have realized that he actually could unlock his well, he already unlocked his Sharingan, and of course he wanted to use it. And although he wanted to use it, well, he wasn't really skilled at it. There was no one to teach him, and he did go to the Hokage for advice. The Hokage realized that Sasuke could become something great in the future, and although he wanted to, help out Naruto too, Naruto was really distant from him, and so he wanted to help someone out at least. So he decided to help out Sasuke quite a bit, and then now Sasuke, through his training, he was quite strong, and in fact, he'd be pretty much Jonin level if I had to be honest, and that's mostly because of Kakashi's hard training on him. And Kakashi wouldn't be slacking off here. He actually wanted to train someone, and Sasuke seemed like the only person he could actually train here. And so he actually trained Sasuke a lot. And now Naruto would actually go on to not be well. Of course, he'll be very strong, but Sasuke is quite strong. He has four chakra natures here. He has water, he has fire, he has lightning, and he has earth, whereas Naruto has all five. He doesn't have wind, unfortunately for him. Naruto has wind, and of course, that is actually stronger than his lightning, which puts him at a disadvantage already from Naruto. But anyway, Sasuke is more experienced than Naruto because Sasuke is actually going on missions already with uh, Kakashi, but however, they were put in the same team, Team 7. Kakashi would be teaching Team 7 here, and he's quite happy that he has Sasuke as his student now. Of course, Naruto would actually, well, not really like Sasuke in this way. If he always seemed a bit off with him, and he's not really like against Sasuke or anything, but he just never really liked him in the first place. Well, of course, in reality, he was just jealous of him. To be honest, he was always jealous of Sasuke, just like in the original. But anywho, now, of course, Naruto and Sasuke were put in the same team, and he has to put aside his, you know, his little bit of jealousy. And anywho, now we go on to see Naruto pretty much. Well, sorry, not Naruto. Well, Kakashi pretty much arriving very late as usual. Sasuke already knew. Naruto didn't really care as he had better things to do. Then actually wait for our way around and read the, you know, the scroll of sealing that he has on him, or what? Not the scroll of sealing, but as in the scroll of seals that he has many seals in, and he wants to learn many of them. And it's very, very strong. And then you now, Naruto has found out the other day, a week before this, that he has a new chakra nature, which I'm not going to really mention here right now, as I'm going to mention it later. I know I'm teasing you guys, but you now we go on to see Naruto and Team 7 tell Kakashi about their dreams. Sasuke says, "I don't have a dream, but I will make it into a reality. I will, well, rebuild my clan and kill a certain someone." Naruto, Sakura has the same exact dream as in the original, always looking at Sasuke, and Naruto tells well, Kakashi that he really has no dreams, he has no plans for the future right now. He just wants a family one day, and he wants to be with someone one day, and he always wants to be close to his friends and especially his father figure, Iruka. And of course, Kakashi kind of felt bad for Naruto that he never really taught Naruto or anything earlier, as his father taught him, the Fufukage Minato. And anyways, now of course we go on to see Naruto. We go on to see, well, Naruto and Team 7 actually separate for the day, as you know, Kakashi does tell them about the test tomorrow, and during this time, of course, Naruto would be training, and Kakashi would actually follow Naruto. Naruto would notice him, but he doesn't really care, and as soon as he realizes, of course, Naruto actually decides not to train as hard as he usually does, and he would train quite mediocrely. This kind of pissed him off because he really wanted to just train hard today, and he now doesn't really care if Sasuke was special training by anyone or anything, or even the Hokage training him, because he trained himself, as he's quite strong on his own already. And anywho, now, of course, Naruto and well, Naruto and Team 7 would meet up the next day, and they would actually, well, sorry, once they meet up, of course, Kakashi would tell them about the bell test and how it worked and everything, and then Naruto would, Sakura would actually ask why there's only three bells instead of, why there's only two bells instead of three, and of course, Kakashi would tell her that, there's only two because only two of them will be passing. And Sakura's kind of worried because she knows that Naruto always never really tried the academy in this what if, and then now we go on to see that Naruto and well, Naruto and Team 7 get ready for the bell test, and once the bell test actually begins, Naruto is easily overpowering Kakashi while he has his book. Yes, Naruto doesn't really care. He went straight for the attack, and he was just attacking and attacking. He really didn't give a damn, like, literally. He would just try his best to put up a fight against Kakashi. At first, Sakura and Sasuke were like, what's this idiot doing? How could he ever put up a fight against Kakashi? And even Sasuke was like, oh, what is he doing? Is he stupid? And of course, we go on to see that, you know, uh, Naruto was able to make Kakashi put away his book and even get his mask down for a second there. And anyways, now, of course, we see, uh, sorry, of course, we see that Naruto uh, and Kakashi fought, and Naruto, sorry, Kakashi pretty much annihilated him when he actually started trying. But anywho, now Naruto and Team Seven, well, Naruto would actually regroup with Team Seven and tell them that the bell test is actually all about teamwork. And Sasuke said, "You finally got it." And Naruto's like, "Well, I actually knew from the very beginning, but I didn't really bother with coming back to you guys and telling you about it." And Sasuke, of course, knows that, what an idiot. We could have finished this much faster. And he tells him his plan, that he will be the decoy and the other two will take the bell and not to get into his way in his way. Now, of course, Naruto was like, alright then, let's get this over and done with. And of course, Sasuke was the decoy. Naruto didn't really care about this test. He doesn't care about this team, if he's being honest. He doesn't feel like they're family or anything. He really doesn't give a fuck about them. Let's be honest. Naruto only cares about for the people who actually, well, took the first step and got close to him, and the people who always outcasted him and never really cared for him. He never really cared. He doesn't really care for them. Anyways, now, of course, he knows that Iruka, Shikamaru, and Choji, even Kiba actually and Shino actually started being his friends, whereas the Red and the Hokage and Ishiraku's Tochi and as they always asked how Naruto was, why is Naruto like, if he's being chased around, he can always come to this little, you know, their little stool or their little, you know, ramen place to hide or anytime he wants. Now, he doesn't really care about this team, and Sasuke, of course, puts up a really nice fight against Kakashi as he is his student. The two smile at each other, and it's pretty obvious that, Sasuke is like the student of Kakashi, and Naruto doesn't really care as he's the student of his self-taughtness. Like, he taught himself, he's self-taught, and he doesn't care who's stronger. Of course, he knows that his Sasuke is probably stronger because he actually had a teacher, but Naruto doesn't really need one. Now, Naruto is not in search for power, he's not in search to become the Hokage, but in fact, he's only there to, be himself, try and live his life, build a family one day and everything, and blah blah blah. Now, Naruto would see that Sasuke was having a hard time, as Kakashi was trying a lot more than, ever with Sasuke, and clearly he had the upper hand. Although above Jonin level, Sasuke had a massive disadvantage because Kakashi was just way stronger. Anyways, Naruto sighed and says, "Ugh, I thought you're meant to be his student. You're meant to know how he fights. God damn it." Of course, as Kakashi was about to, knock out Sasuke, Naruto came in the way and says, "I've had enough of this. Can we just end this? I took the two bells already from the very beginning. If you guys didn't notice, I put two fake ones and I put on a genjutsu. You guys are really dumb, aren't you? Sasuke, here's a bell. Sakura, here's one for you. I don't need one. I'll return to the academy, as I kind of want to stay with Iruka Sensei than be with you guys." Kakashi was surprised that Naruto was able to do all that without even him noticing, and still, you know, was still bothered to fight him and even tried. And of course, Sasuke put up a really good fight. Sakura really didn't do anything, but technically she got that bell, so she passes. And then Hina, of course, Kakashi was very surprised by Naruto, and he never really knew about anyone teaching him. At first, he thought that someone taught him, And the day when he actually went to the Hokage and told him that Team 7 passed, he actually asked if Naruto was ever trained by anyone. The Hokage said, no, don't tell me he was that bad. Anyway, I'm sorry, I kind of wanted him to train with someone since he is, Minato's son, but I guess, and just saying, the Anbu who are in the uh, Hokage's office already know about Naruto's true heritage, but then the Hokage says, I never really had the time as Naruto was very distant from me, so I never really got to teach him. And Kakashi was like, well, I'm not here to complain about him, but I'm here to actually tell you that he's quite strong, very strong indeed. And Iruka did keep his secret. He never even told the Hokage himself that, Naruto's super strong, he's been training, and anywho. Of course, Team 7 knows that they passed. Naruto found their drag. He's like, can I actually go return to the academy? I don't really want to be a ninja. I only passed the exam because I promised Iruka sensei. And of course, Kakashi says, your attitude towards this in your ninja life will get you killed, Naruto. To be more serious, Sasuke was very pissed off that Naruto took the bells, and here he was actually quite jealous, as even he didn't notice, and he had the 30-way Sharingan, and he's more pissed off that Naruto said that he only tried in the academy because Iruka actually asked him, and that's the only reason why he passed. He doesn't really care about being a ninja, whereas Sasuke has trained his whole life to be a ninja, to be on his brother's level, and now be stronger than his brother. And still Naruto just doesn't care. Like, he got this far, he should be grateful, right? But no, Naruto doesn't care. He just wants to be with the people that he loves and the people that love him. He wants a normal citizen life, but it's just that he enrolled into the academy, and in the end, he had to pass as he promised, and he keeps his promises. That is his ninja way. Although he doesn't really want to be a ninja, he does still have a ninja way. Naruto's a very carefree person here, as he trains to improve on his own or on himself, but he's more like passionate about training. That's it, just to improve on himself, not really to be a ninja. However, since now he has to be a ninja, he doesn't really mind there. Of course, since he passed, he's alright. I'll go along with it for as long as I can until I die or something. I don't really know until I get the chance to retire. But anyway, now I'll be heading to my home. See ya. I'll see you tomorrow for a mission, I guess. And Kakashi's like, yeah. Also, you really need to fix up your attitude towards being a ninja. It will really get you killed. Now, of course, Naruto really doesn't care, and he just goes home and gets ready to train. Naruto is very strong, remember, and anywho, while he went to train, while he was training, sorry, he was actually training in his new, well, wood release, which no one really knows about, and even Naruto's surprised that he unlocked wood release. He doesn't understand why he even has it. Does he deserve it? Is it a gift from God or something? Like, is there some extraterrestrial being that gave it to him, or is there someone of higher power, higher degree, that degree of strength, giving him this kind of power? As Naruto kind of thinks a little bit too small of himself. Like, he has not much self-esteem after all. He has been treated like an outcast for most of his life, and then here now, of course. As he was training, there was someone actually watching him, and that someone was someone outside this village, someone who wasn't from the village, someone who was actually after Naruto, after the kid that she's seen get abused. One day, you know, Tsukome. Yes, I'm going to use Tsukome again. Oh, don't worry, guys. The Hinata ship will be back, or different ships will be coming forward, but right now, I really wanted to do Tsukome because this is a banished wife, and anywho now, of course, Tsukome actually came to the village a long while ago after her training, when she actually, well, before she finished her training with Madara and Obito, and just saying Tsukome is Madara's granddaughter, and pretty much she says she saw how Naruto was treated, and she kind of felt bad for him, but now she's grown up and she knows that she has to do this. As anyways, now of course she sees Naruto train, and one day Naruto, who was training super hard, and it's been a week since Team 7 was made. Naruto's training extremely hard until he basically trained himself to an extent where he could no longer move. He was actually paralyzed for a second there, and Tsukome was quite worried for Naruto. Tsukome has been watching Naruto for the past 2 years, since the age of 10, as she was very strong already by then, and she's grown to actually, like Naruto. She's always been with Naruto, and she actually kind of has a crush on him. She saw that how strong he got, and she started developing some feelings towards, you know, the boy. And every time Naruto was, with Ruka, he always had a smile on his face that really charmed her. That's when Naruto really started, uh, hitting it off with her, as she always wanted a man who smiled like that, a strong person with, someone who could understand her pain. And clearly, Naruto is someone who can understand her pain, because Naruto went through that pretty much similar pain, as she lost her parents too, and but she saw them dying, and her grandfather was abusive, as the villagers are abusive to Naruto. She was an outcast, uh, as her parents actually hated her, just like Naruto, who was an outcast from the village, and as the village hated him. And anywho, they really are similar. And now Naruto, Tsukome would have a crush on Naruto, and anywho, now she got worried, and she helped Naruto. And when Naruto woke up, as he was unconscious, and in his conscious, he actually met the Naruto's on that fated day. And the Naruto's ruled at him, and Naruto just looked at him, saying, "You're the infamous Naruto's." And the Naruto tells him to get out. And Naruto says, "Technically, this is my mind, isn't it?" And the Naruto says, "Even so, get out. Stay somewhere else. Your mind is vast." And Naruto says, "Well, why can't you go?" And the Naruto says, "Are you trying to mock me or something? Do you not see this cage? You damn brat." Of course, Naruto then actually chuckles a bit, not cockles, chuckles a bit, saying, "I'm sorry. By the way, I know you have a lot of hatred in there, and I'm pretty sure you think I hate you. Don't worry, I don't. I don't really hate you. In fact, I admire you. I can see why you hate this wretched world with humans. We pretty much, well, labeled you as a weapon, right? I read the history of Shinobi, and anyways, I'm sorry for you. I feel really bad. If I didn't die when releasing you, if I released you and I didn't die, I would definitely release you. If I could, I would. And I'm sure you know. You can feel lies, right? You are a supernatural being, which I admire. I aspire to be just as strong as you one day." The Naruto scoffs, saying, "No, you cannot be as strong as me. I am the Naruto." And Naruto says, "I'll prove you wrong. And once that day comes, you tell me your name and we can become friends, right?" Of course, the Naruto says, "You are too full of yourself. You don't understand. I have the power of a god. I am the one who killed the Fufukage, who's thought to be the strongest shinobi alive. Do you really believe that you can defeat me?" And Naruto says, "Well, if you possess the power of a god, that must mean that Hashirama was stronger than a god, right? Since he was known as the god of shinobi." Naruto smiles as he outsmarts the Naruto's, and says, "You damn brat. You really do not understand who I am, do you?" Now, of course, Naruto says, I, you know, you're really funny, aren't you? The Naruto's. I guess I can call you the only person that is actually truly my family. I know you may not, consider me as family, but you were there since my birth. You're like a parent to me. And now that I think back to it, I had wounds back in the days that could have killed me. But I'm still alive. I'm still standing here. I'm talking to you right now. I wonder how I healed. I know it was you. You care for me. Maybe not as an affectionate way, but you care for me. As I am your host. You care for your host, right? So I'll take the little bit of affection, right? The Naruto scoffs, saying that he only healed him as if he dies, it's just going to be a hassle for him. And Naruto says, well, he still healed him. And then Naruto really was pissed off at this point. He was like, "You're really pissing me off. Get out, please. I beg." And anywho, Naruto then sees himself disappear, and of course, the Naruto smiles as soon as he does and says, "That brat. He's not have full. He's full of himself. However, I see someone great in him." Of course, as Naruto disappears, he sees the shadow of the sage of six paths, but then not the Chroma actually closes his eyes, going into a deep slumber. Now, Naruto opens his eyes suddenly as Tsukume had her mask off, and Naruto saw her. And as he woke up, the first thing he says, "Cute and beautiful," and of course Tsukume blushes and actually disappears using body flicker even faster than Naruto. And Naruto was like, "What? That speed? I didn't even see where she went. Her body flicker must have been on a different level." Of course, Naruto was thought that it was all a dream, part of his imagination. The Naruto's playing a trick or something. And as soon as he thought of that, he was like, "Impossible. The Naruto wouldn't be that cruel, would he?" And of course, he's like, "It could be, but I don't believe it. I felt pain once I hit my head. That person was real." And then he actually starts screaming, "Wherever you are, I hope I meet you again, as you are beautiful." And Naruto here is still remember the knucklehead he always was. He still is that, but he's more serious. But when he's alone, he can act like himself. Tsukome blushed and put a mask on to hide her blushing, although no one was there to see her except for Naruto, who doesn't even know where she is because she body flickered too fast. Now, she would go on to watch Naruto train for the next 3 weeks as Sasuke would train harder with Kakashi and uh, be coming he was actually an upcoming Jonin. He was already training level, of course, but he wasn't given the title and anything. And anywho, now of course Sasuke asked for a high rank mission and Naruto really didn't care, and the Hokage asked, "Hey Sakura, do you want a high rank mission?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course, if Sasuke couldn't want it." And of course then he asked Naruto, and Naruto says, "Huh? High rank mission? How long will this take? C rank?" I kind of have some things to do. I don't really want to do it. Can I get a D? And they can do their C. I don't really care. Naruto acting a bit more, you know, like a bit more carefree. He doesn't really care. And the Hokage says, "Well, since it's majority vote, I'll say that I can give you a C rank as you're all really skilled." And Naruto seems like he needs to get out of his lazy habit if he wants to be a ninja. And Naruto says, "If you give me the chance to retire, I'll retire any day. So please." And then here, of course, the Hokage is Naruto. Now, Tazuna, you can walk in. You can come in, and of course, Tazuna walks in, makes a joke about Sakura. She's the, shortest one. As Naruto is actually quite tall, even taller than Sasuke, because he's never really, lived off of ramen. But anywho, now, of course, Naruto, well, would get ready to go on this mission, and Tsukome would just look out of Naruto's window, how Naruto's just packing up, and all he packs up was a few kunais with his seal on it, and that's pretty much it. Just a pair of underwear, clothes, everything, and I say everything, and then I say just. But anyways, he doesn't pack too much, especially medical essentials. Tsukome was worried for Naruto as she knows how he gets injured quite a lot, and she was like, "No, this can't be going on like this." And so she breaks into Naruto's home when he's asleep, and she puts the stuff herself. She packs for Naruto, and you know, because she's a simp, she kisses him on the forehead right before leaving. And anywho, now here Naruto is not really the one making the moves; it's actually more of her. Anywho, now Naruto Tsukome would just be watching Naruto, and she would be quite sleepy. And just say she actually is still in his apartment, and she actually kind of falls asleep. Of course, she's slacking on the job. Naruto would then wake up pretty early the next morning, with the shirt off, and realize that there's someone in the room. Naruto would be pretty chill with it. He's like, who is this? Is that? And realizes who he is. He's the same girl that he called cute and beautiful. And so he would actually go on to his kitchen and make some breakfast. And once she woke up to the nice smell, she realizes that Naruto's just in front of her eating. Yes, Naruto actually knows how to cook pretty well here because of all the experience he has had in the wild and has some books to learn how to cook. This is what I want to do in summer this year. Of course, if I don't kill myself after the GCC results. And by the way, oh shit. Now, once she wakes up, she realizes that she needs to go, and she's wearing the Akatsuki clothes. And Naruto says, "Listen, I'm not going to question why you're in here. You didn't kill me, that's all that matters. So, here, have some breakfast before you leave. And I'm sorry for being rude last time." And she says, "You weren't being rude. I just got embarrassed." And Naruto says, "Well, just one little tip. You shouldn't really break into people's houses." And she blushes, of course, and well, she was about to do straight away, but Naruto's like, "Hey, listen, it's fine, it's fine. I mean, I'm just a nobody." And she says that you need to treat yourself more with the high respect of yourself, self-respect. And of course, Naruto says, "Well, after all my childhood, I don't really think I should have any self-respect. As people really want to kill me." She says, then she actually says that there are people who are actually out there who love you and want you to survive and not just kill yourself like that or just see you in this kind of state. Naruto then says, "Of course, maybe you are one of them." And of course, Sukome is like, "Well, even if I was, I wouldn't tell you." And Naruto says that, "Well, I can dream, right?" And she says, "Go on, dream all you want, but still, you need to be more careful." As she finishes off, she thanks Naruto, and Naruto asks one last question: "What's your name?" Tsukome says, Tsukome Uchiha." Naruto raises an eyebrow and says, "Are you like Sasuke's sister or something?" And she's like, "I would never want to be the little sister or the older sister of that brat who is power hungry, first of all. Second of all, he has no. I don't really like him. And third of all, even if he's an Uchiha, I don't want to be associated with him." Then Naruto replies by saying, "Well, he does want to rebuild his clan, so like, you're both Uchihas, in the future and that." And she says that you need to shut up. As she says that, she has a kunai to Naruto's neck, and she disappears. Now, of course, Naruto's there. Well, that was weird. Anyway, back to my mission today. Let me see, did I pack everything? And he sees some meds that he never really packed, some bandages and everything. Is that he smiles and blushes a little bit, telling himself maybe she really does care about him. But he slaps himself in the face and says, "Alright, let's go." With a mark on his face, he goes off to meet Team 7, and of course, once they meet up, they will leave. And that is where I'm gonna end off. I will be covering the next part the tuning exams and the Land of Waves arc, and maybe the ending of part 1 Naruto. But anyways, I hope you'll enjoy it. Please take care, stay safe. This was the King of Weaves here. My ducklings, you're dismissed, and peace. Hope you're all enjoying this part, by the way. And peace. Once again, peace. Oh, did I say peace yet? Anyway, peace. Peace, yeah? Safe. Peace.